All right, here we are on January 17th, 2021, and we are beginning our hike at mile number 2 today. If all goes as planned, we're going to be going from mile number 2 to mile number 7, and then even a little further across some field roads. Let's take a look at an old foundation here. If you can see it, you can see it in my foot. There we go. There's a wall here of some sort. You can see some red bricks. So there was some sort of structure here years ago. Hard to find information about what these structures were, but we keep digging and hoping we can find somebody that can help us out and tell us what these buildings were along the way. Okay, this time of year, with the foliage being down, you can get a good view of the lake from the trails. The trails themselves are just, as far as we're concerned, are absolutely spectacular. Some of them used to be old asphalt roads, and some of them were old dirt roads from farms. And then, yet again, some of them were cut when the lake was built, cut by the Corps of Engineers. But this trail, this time of year, has so much to see, like so many of the other trails. And we're going to be seeing some more strenuous trails on this hike today, along about mile, probably from mile 2.5 to mile 3. We'll see some strenuous hiking, and then a little later we'll see some hiking, more strenuous hiking, leading up to mile 7. So we're currently between mile marker 2 and the State Hill boat launch. State Hill boat launch is at about 2.5. Just wanted to give you an idea of what the trail looks like here. This would actually be a good trail for bicyclists if you're not looking for real aggressive hills, both up and down. Here's an example of one of the trail signs showing which way the trail goes. Unfortunately, over the years, some of the signs have fallen down. And I believe there's a volunteer program that allows you to volunteer with the rangers and help them set these signs back up. This one is not a mile marker, just happens to be a trail directional sign. I had quite a bit of rain Friday night and into Saturday morning. Today is Sunday. So you can see the trails are a little bit muddy, but it's not too hard to get off to the side and be able to find some place to walk without getting too muddy. Definitely want to wear waterproof shoes almost any time of year when you're hiking these trails. And as you can see, this was once a farm road. It's a little bit leveled out. And there's also stones that have been put down over the years by the rangers to keep it a little bit nicer. And again, we're coming up on about the 2.5 mile mark. We started at mile marker 2. We're coming up to mile marker, or to about 2.5 miles, which is the State Hill boat launch. Here's another directional sign. We're coming up on the State Hill boat launch. See a sign up here that says caution road crossing. We're going to pass some other hikers with a dog. Morning.
Morning. How you doing?
Good.
Good.
Almost everyone we meet on this trail system and have met over the probably 30 years that we've been hiking here is always very friendly. Just made it to the State Hill boat launch. And we're going to walk down here and give you a little bit of a shot of the water. And know that we started at mile marker 2, and the State Hill boat launch is at about mile 2.5. So let's just get a little bit of a panorama here of what the lake looks like from here. This parking lot in the summertime is mobbed with boat trailers, jet ski trailers, and people just enjoying the lakefront area. And let's just get a wide shot of this. Across the lake and see the cut that is in one of our other video segments. Now we're going to continue on the trail. Here's a picture of a degradable pickup mitt for pet waste that's sponsored by VCA Sinking Spring Animal Hospital in the Blue Marsh Lake Recreational Area. And they asked that you clean up after your pets. And then the other thing that I wanted to show you is the Squirrel Run Nature Trail. There's also a sign, as there are throughout the park, for COVID recreation guidelines. Pretty much what you would expect. Wear a mask, maintain social distancing, recreate with family only, etc. Here at the Blue Marsh State Hill boat launch, you can see some structures that are sitting behind barricades. Those are actually the floating docks. They take those docks out in the wintertime and bring them up here on the parking lot. Not going to go down there now, but off in the distance there is a restroom, sort of a formal outhouse for use here at the State Hill boat launch also. We've now left the State Hill boat launch and we're on our way to mile marker 3. You can see we're on what used to be an old asphalt road. I believe this was called Blue Marsh Road, but I'm going to have to check that. Just wanted to get a shot of this. You can see there's freshly sawn logs that had fallen down across the road, and the rangers do a really nice job of catching up and clearing the logs off the road. As you can see, we just were passed by a runner. The trails are used for hiking, running, horseback, and bicycles. Coming up on a trail directional sign telling us to move straight ahead. Here's another sign that says horses are prohibited on this trail. It's just because it's too steep and dangerous. But more importantly, here's the entrance to the Squirrel Run Trail. Squirrel Run Trail is a really great trail if you're hiking with young children. It's about a mile long, and there are points of interest. You can see them marked on the map there, 1 through 9, where you can stop and see some scenic things. And there's some old foundations from houses back there. If you look at a Blue Marsh trail map, which we have on our site here, you'll be able to see the Squirrel Run Trail. It's a mile long, and I recommend it for families that want to come out with young children. And you can see on the Squirrel Run Trail, there's no horses and no bicycles. It creates a loop. We're right at point number 1. We can continue all the way around and it'll bring us right back to here when we're finished in 1 mile. Here's a shot of the cove that comes back off the boat launch, and you can see in the distance how low the water has been drawn down. It's been drawn down about 5 feet. And in the summertime, this area would be filled with water. You can see a little stream running down here that runs into the lake. There's many of the streams around here that run into the lake. Here's a picture showing that the State Hill boat ramp is that way, where we just came from. And then if we turn around here, we'll see the no horses, no bicycle signs. This is actually where the Squirrel Run Trail comes back out and meets the main trail. We're on what's known as the Multipurpose Trail, and depending on who you believe, Multipurpose Trail is either 27 or 29 miles long. I happen to believe it is 29 miles. And then there's an additional probably 7 or 8 miles of the non-main loop trails that we've been filming and we will continue to film. Once again, we are on what used to be known as Blue Marsh Road. It used to be an asphalt road, but you can see the asphalt has kind of disintegrated over the years. We've come to an intersection here, and this is an example of where the trail signs don't do a great job, because it's not pointing us down to the right, which is where the main trail system goes. Instead, if we went straight, we would be on Blue Marsh Road and it would intersect with Brownsville Road. But if we turn right here, and if we're observant as we're on the trail system, we might be able to see that down here at the bottom of the hill is a trail sign. And I want to get a shot of this trail sign because it shows that bicycles, hikers, and horseback riders share this trail. Bicyclists yield to hikers, bicyclists yield to horses, and hikers yield to horses. So horses have the right of way. Throughout the trail system, you'll come across bridges like this that were built years ago. And in some cases, on one of the trails, there is a bridge that was built by a young man who was earning his Eagle Scout badge. You can see there's concrete here. So this used to be an actual bridge that I believe motor vehicles could traverse, or at least horses and carriages could traverse. But now it's been relegated to pressure-treated lumber. And you can see the stream, one of the streams that leads into the lake system. This is an example of the deer trails and wildlife trails that you'll see throughout the lake system. If you're observant, you'll see where the deer probably go up into the woods for bedding. They come down for water from the lake, and they probably go up to the top of the hill to the fields for food. And we were just overtaken by two runners on these mountainous trails. You got a shot of my hiking associate here wearing blaze orange, as am I, because hunting is allowed throughout this area. However, Sunday hunting is not allowed except for coyotes, foxes, certain times of the year for foxes, but coyotes year round, and also crows at certain times on Sundays. So today's a Sunday, but we choose to keep our blaze orange on anyway to be visible. We're headed up the hill, and you can probably see in the distance the sign for mile marker 3. Throughout the trail system, on some of the maps, you can find the elevation for the hill that you're on. This one isn't crazy, but as you can hear, I'm huffing and puffing. And there's mile marker 3. There's the hill that we need to continue up. Another shot of the hill that we have to continue to climb from mile marker 3 up to the fields on top of the hill. We made it to the top of the hill after mile marker 3. Here's a trail that goes back through the field, which I would assume was probably made either by deer or by hunters trying to follow the deer. Anyway, we're up on top of a hill right after mile marker 3. Going to be going down a hill into the woods to get to mile markers 4, 5, 6, and 7, which are all in the woods. Here we are coming off the field that we encountered at the top of the hill after mile marker 3. There's our sign telling us to proceed, and we're headed into the woods. We'll be in the woods for mostly the rest of this hike, which is going to take us to mile marker 7. I can't help myself. I have to keep filming trail segments like this because I just think it's so beautiful and in many ways just a well-kept secret. But here's a view of the trail that we're going down. Got sort of a gentle hill down and a gentle hill on the way up. Get a shot of some of the runners enjoying the trail. Good morning.
And nice to see you.
Hi.
Hello there.
We're now headed down a hill. We are somewhere between mile marker 3 and mile marker 4. I'd give us probably about mile marker 3.25, 3.25, but I could be wrong. Anyway, I wanted to give you an idea of how the trail can be really flat at some places, and then at other places end up with some hills like this. Nothing crazy, but definitely hiking quality trails as opposed to just walking trails. Okay, here's a good shot of just kind of a normal trail somewhere between mile 3 and 4. Down here we're going to see some trees that are marked with white, and we believe that when the Corps of Engineers was building this trail system, that's how they marked it, to let the people know that we're building the trail with the chainsaws and so forth, let them know where they were supposed to be going. Just some more footage of the trail We believe that we're about a little less than a half mile from the 4-mile marker. But as you can see, we're headed down what we think is just a beautiful trail system, very well maintained by the rangers, and pretty easy to follow. But again, we advise using a trail map, particularly when you're first getting used to this trail system, getting familiar with this trail system. Headed down the hill, somewhere near mile 3.75, I would estimate. And there was a deadfall that we just passed there, a dead tree that was falling down. But most of the trail, throughout the entire trail system, all 29 miles, is clear like this. The rangers have done a really good job over the years of keeping the trail system clear. We just passed some happy dogs on the trail. They're having a good time this morning. And we're coming up on another one of the bridges that the rangers built across a little stream. And you'll see here that it says Dry Roads Farm. We are now on the Dry Roads Farm property. Dry Roads Farm, you can look it up, is a historic farm. And they used to do class trips for school children and so forth, where they would show how things were made back in the old days. If we went up this trail up into the cornfield, we'd head up to Dry Roads Farm. We're not going to do that. We're going to stay on the actual trail system and head down this way. Can't resist the opportunity to show these wildlife trails that go up into the fields. There's a cornfield up there, and deer love corn. And then you can see where they make their path down to the stream to get some water down here. So they've got it made. They've got food, water, and a good place to bed down. And Dry Road Farm, Old Dry Road Farm, happens to be a non-hunting area. So that's even better. They get to hide back here and stay away from all the deer hunters. Okay, here we are on a bridge that goes across just a little stream. You can see the plaque says Judson Booger, Troop 430, Eagle Scout Project, May 31st, 2014. And of note is the fact that there is a path down along the side of the bridge where horses can come up through the water if sometimes horses are shy about crossing bridges like that, so they can go through the stream on the side of the bridge. In the interest of fairness, I keep talking about how well maintained the trail systems are. I guess these are recent blowdowns or deadfalls that the rangers haven't found out about yet. So if you had a bicycle, it'd be a little harder to traverse that. And again, can't resist showing you the game trails that come down out of the cornfields and head down through the brush to the water. The deer use them just about like highways. Here we are at mile marker 4. So we've gone 2 miles so far. We got about 3 miles to go. We're back behind Old Dry Road Farm. And this is a trail system that we keep talking about. It's built by the Army Corps of Engineers when the lake was built. How you doing? Morning. So we just passed mile marker 4, and that was a group of runners that we passed. We're kind of out of the woods and into an area where there's a cornfield to our left, and headed up a little bit of a hill. Going to be in the fields for a little bit, and then we'll get back in the woods again. Here we are after mile marker 4, and we're back in the woods again. We're going to be back in the woods for just a little bit, then back out in an open field before we get to mile marker 5. And then from 5 to 6 to 7 is pretty much a wooded area. This is a good example of the things you see along the trail. Don't know how much you can see, but there's old foundations, concrete covered with moss, and old timbers. And you probably can't see it very well in the photo, but there's an old fence post that was mounted in concrete. So there was something back here, probably a farm or some sort of a farm structure. And to further illustrate the fact that there was something back here before the lake was built, there's a drain pipe that feeds over to here and empties out and allows the stream to flow under this path that we're on, which was probably an old farm road. Here we are coming out of the woods after mile marker 4, somewhere between mile marker 4 and mile marker 5. And we're going to be on what used to be a field road for a little while. And it'll be a little while before we get back into the woods again. We're still between mile marker 4 and mile marker 5. We've come back into a little bit of a wooded area. We were in the field. Now we're into a little bit of a wooded area. And we're going to come back out into a field again and get on to a pretty clearly defined field road that had been there for years. All right, again, we're between mile marker 4 and mile marker 5. Here's an example of where the trail could be marked a little better. You might be tempted to go that way, but you shouldn't. You should go this way. I wanted to get a shot of the field road that we were on, and we're coming up on some hikers with a very well-behaved puppy dog going for a walk on a nice Sunday morning. Coming up on some bicyclists taking a break. We're still on the trail system somewhere around mile marker 5, and we're coming up to the intersection of Sterner's Hill Road, which you can find on the map. And Sterner's Hill Road runs left to right the way we're facing, but we're going to go straight and go down the trail system. In one of our future segments, we'll travel Sterner's Hill Road, which we've done many times, but this time, and you can see Sterner's Hill Road is an asphalt road. This time we're going to go straight and stay on the trail system. We're somewhere near mile marker 5, and you can see the sign here. I think you can see that. It says hiking trail, and it's got the left and right arrows. However, this sign has fallen down on the ground here. We're on the trail system. We think we're coming up on mile marker 5. We use an application called Map My Run. That's a free app published by Under Armour, and it tracks our progress. Based on that, we think we're coming up on mile marker 5, and we're not sure if the sign is still going to be standing or not, but we'll certainly find out. This is one of the trails that takes us outside the woods into the fields, and then we'll be headed back into the woods here in just a minute. And we just found mile marker 5, which happens to still be standing. So onward to mile marker 7. After passing mile marker 5, we're back in the woods again. We hope you all agree that the scenery is just spectacular. And the video footage just doesn't do justice to it. We encourage you to hike it yourself. I have the camera taking some footage here because it's a fairly steep hill we're going to be going down, and we agree that we're glad we're going down instead of coming up today. Here's a hiker with his dog. The dog has his bell. The dog has a bell on. They're enjoying the trail. It's a good shot of the trail there as well. I can't help myself. Just have to take video footage of this kind of trail system. It's just spectacular. Right here in our own backyard in Berks County, Pennsylvania. We're coming up on a turn in the trail, and if you were flying down here with a bike and didn't know about this turn, it might be a little bit challenging. You turn left and turn left again, and then over the years, some hikers have created a shortcut trail that goes down that meets up. We're going to take the full loop, and we'll meet up with that trail. And now we've met up with what I talked about a minute ago, the shortcut trail. Right now we're between mile marker 5 and mile marker 6. You can see, unfortunately, there's a tree that looks like it fell down this year, and the rangers haven't had a chance to clear it yet. which is rather unusual. We're coming down on a bridge, coming down the trail onto a bridge that was built over the stream here, and there's a plaque on the bridge. We're going to take a look at the plaque, see what it has to say. It says, the bridge was built by Trent Good, Troop 459, Eagle Scout Project, June 2nd, 2012. Good job, Trent. The bridge is still in great shape. And here we are in the year 2021. The bridge was built in 2012 and it still looks great. Nice view of the trail in the sunshine. It's about noontime here on the East Coast, January 17th, 2021. This is a trail that leads up along the side of a cove in Blue Marsh Lake. Just one more shot of a beautiful trail in the sunshine. And you can see the trail is pretty well grooved, which would seem to indicate that a lot of people use it, and that's good because that's what it's meant to be. And you can see the water on the right. That's one of the coves in Blue Marsh Lake. Here's a good shot of the lake. What we're actually looking at across the lake is an island that's only accessible by boat or kayak or swimming. And when the water is down like this, you can see there, you might be able to see in the distance, there's some people hiking over there that apparently took their kayaks over and they're hiking the shore. And then here we are back on the trail right along the water's edge. And we are between mile marker 5 and mile marker 6. I would say we're probably at about 5.5 miles, or mile marker 5.5 on the trail system. Okay, we've just come up a trail and we're intersecting with the trail system. To the left is a field road that would take us back up to Sterners Hill Road. To the right is the main trail system. We're going to take the main trail system. As you can see, we're coming up on mile marker 6. There's an old gas tank, a very small gas tank, probably from a tractor or a small truck. And as you can see, we're out on what's essentially a field road, an old field road. We came out of the woods onto this old field road, and not too far up the trail, we'll head back into the woods again. And here we are at mile marker 6. So far in our hike today, we've gone 4 miles. And you can see we are along the lakefront. Good view of the lake there. We're going to continue around, go back into the woods to get to mile number 7. We've come out of the field. Now we're headed back into the woods. And again, we are between mile marker 6 and mile marker 7. I apologize for the wind noise, but I wanted to get a shot of the lake, and we're coming down a hill that's going to take us down close to the water's edge. And the cove that we're going to be coming down on is called Spring Creek, because the Spring Creek feeds in to the lake from up at the upper end. And we are between mile marker 6 and mile marker 7. In the distance, you can see someone on the shore. They're down at the end of a trail that happens to be called Skinner's Loop. We'll do that in a future video segment. And we're walking down to the water's edge to where we'll see a no wake sign. Much of the lake includes no wake area where boats are supposed to be going at idle speed. The reason being that they don't want the beach and the lakefront to be eroded from the water, from the strength of the water if the boats were to go full speed. We're down at the water's edge, and you can see the pylons warning that this is a slow zone, no wake. And if that's not enough, You can see the sign here says slow, no wake. That's been there since the lake was built. Also, you'll notice from years before the lake was built, there is a drain pipe that emptied into Spring Creek. Not sure where it started, but you can see it. See that it still exists. Spring Creek ran through this area before the lake was ever built. We're at about mile marker 6.5. You can see the Spring Creek arm of the lake is on the right of the trail. Not sure about on this side of Spring Creek, but on the other side, there used to be bungalows, summer houses, and some full-time residences that were all kind of bulldozed and destroyed when the lake was built. Okay, so to let you know what's in store for you when you hike this portion of the trail in this direction, you can see the hill that we're going to be climbing. Not terrible, just one that you need to take your time on, I guess. And this is probably just short of mile marker 6.75. Okay, we made it to the top of that big hill, and we thought we were through. Not so fast. Got another hill to climb up here, but not quite as crazy as the last one. Nevertheless, it's still a hill, and we've got about another, probably about another quarter mile to go to mile marker 7. Almost at the top of the hill, and when we get to the top, it's going to level off a little bit of a gentle incline until we come upon mile marker 7. And at mile marker 7, it's going to start to go mostly downhill from there. Here we are at mile marker 7. So today we have hiked from mile marker 2 to mile marker 7. We're going to continue our hike. The way that we do some of these hikes, we leave one car at one location, and then we hike to that car, and then drive back to the starting point. So we've got probably another mile to go before we get back to our car. Just as a point of interest, this is a new clear cut that wasn't here, probably 3 weeks ago when we came through here. This was not here. So we're going to do some research and find out what the purpose of it is. It's clear cut all the way back through and almost looks like a road, although there's no motorized vehicles or anything allowed up here. So we're going to check it out. We're just after mile marker 7, and we're going to look a little more closely here. In years gone by, when we hiked this, we were able to see some fencing, and essentially almost like chicken wire fencing, indicating that there was a farm here somewhere. I don't think I see it right now. It was off to the side. And again, it's really hard to find information on what structures were here before the lake was built. But I do know that over the years I was able to see remnants, chicken wire, and remnants of a foundation in this area. This intersection can be really confusing if you've not hiked these trails before. And unfortunately, all the signs have fallen down. You might think that the trail system would go straight ahead, but it doesn't. It goes down this way. And that's why it's really important to use trail maps when you're first becoming familiar with these trails. There are catalpa trees, which are kind of bean-like trees, and there used to be a sign here announcing the fact that there were catalpa trees. I don't see it anymore. And again, I don't see a trail sign indicating that this is the direction here. Here we are in the woods off the trail, and what we're looking at is a concrete structure, an old concrete structure with a wooden rail post. It looks like some sort of gate or something. It's all moss covered. And there are also concrete blocks And so definitely part of an old structure here at the corner. And for those of you who are interested, this structure that we're looking at is at about mile marker, I'm saying maybe 7 1/4, 7.25. And it's at an intersection where the trail turns, if you're coming from mile marker 7, the trail turns to the right, and then the field road continues straight. On this segment of our hike, I think we just left the trail system. We just left the official trail system, and we were at about mile marker maybe 7 1/4, something like that. Now we're headed straight up a road that was an old farm road, and it'll take us up into a field and then back up to another farm road and back to the parking lot where our car is parked, which happens to be the Landis Road parking lot. We've just come out of the woods on this bright, sunshiny January 17th of 2021. We're on an old field road, winding our way back to our car. We're coming close to the end of our hike for today. We just completed the section from mile marker 7.25 back to Sterner's Hill Road, and the road that we're on was known as Highland Road. However, this road that we were on was more of a field road to a farm. We're looking straight up the hill to Highland Road. When we get to the top of the hill, you'll see the parking lot where we parked our car. And we want to highlight that as a point of interest because it's a good place to park when you're going on these hikes. We are now back at the Highland Road parking lot. And as you can see, there's a gate. Not allowed to drive motorized vehicles on this road. There's posts up to prevent people from driving through the field and driving down there. And you can see that even back in the day, there were posts that prevented, that had gates to prevent people from getting down that field road. But anyway, here's the parking lot, and we're going to film the road coming into the parking lot because it is not maintained and it's a little on the rough side. This is the bulletin board at the Highland Road parking lot, and as you can see down below it there, 28095, that's a designator for the Pennsylvania state game lands that are near here, and I'm not sure exactly where they start and stop, but if you needed to tell somebody in an emergency where you were, you would, when you called them, you'd say you were at 28095. I'm showing a picture of a gate that is at the the Highland Road parking lot, and this is for Landis Road, but no motorized vehicles are allowed. We'll be filming that road in a later segment. We hike that quite often. We're at the end of our 6-mile hike today on the trails, and we're parked at the Landis Road parking lot. We're going to be traveling out Landis Road, and we wanted to give you an idea of what the road looks like. It is not maintained, and it's a travel at your own risk kind of road. A little bit tricky when it's snowy or icy, and very bumpy any other time. So we're going to show you a little bit of what the road looks like. And there you have it. That's what you need to be prepared for if you travel back Highland Road. It's worth it though, because it gets us back to some really good hiking areas. It's just that you've got to kind of be careful with all the potholes. We're at the end of our 6-mile hike today on the trails, and we're parked at the Landis Road parking lot. We're going to be traveling out Landis Road, and we wanted to give you an idea of what the road looks like. It is not maintained, and it's a travel at your own risk kind of road. A little bit tricky when it's snowy or icy, and very bumpy any other time. So we're going to show you a little bit of what the road looks like.